Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Killer Author Club. We are here with the one and only Shari Lapena, author of the instant New York Times bestseller, Everyone Here is Lying. So we have tons to talk about. So grab your cocktail, your list of questions for Shari, and sit tight, and we will see you on the other side.
Thought you really loved me, guess I was wrong. Thought you'd never leave me, guess I was dumb. Waited like forever to be your plus one, but I guess you were done.
Hello, everyone. I'm Killer Heather Goodenkoff, along with founding members Killer Kimberly Bell and Killer Kara Ruda. And we are so excited to welcome the one and only Shari Lapena to the clubhouse. The Killers and I started the Killer Author Club so that readers like you can interact with some of the best suspense and thriller authors in the biz. Killers like Chandler Baker, Sarah Pekenin, Frida McFadden, the amazing and hilarious Karen Slaughter, who will be here on Friday, and so many more. Our lineup for 2024 is looking to be pretty exciting as well. But all the dates, times, etc. can be found on our website, killerauthorclub.com. But tonight we're here to talk with Killer Shari to talk about killing of the fictional kind, of course. So make sure to drop your questions in the comments. And though we can't get through them all, we will sure do our best. And if you're watching this on Facebook and have a Facebook account, check out our public group, Killer Author Club. And if you're a really hardcore killer, check out our members only group called the Killer Author Clubhouse, where we host our book clubs. And next up on October 17th is the one and only Christina McDonald, who will be here to talk about her upcoming novel, These Still Black Waters. And again, that happens only in the clubhouse, and you do have to join to be a part of that. We do have a YouTube channel where you can stream us to your big flat screen TV. And you can find us on all the social media channels, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok. Check us out. And so without further ado, Kara, can you please introduce our killer guest?
It's my honor. We're so excited you're here, Shari. And most people already know, but I'm going to read your bio anyway. All right. So Shari is the internationally best-selling author of the thrillers The Couple Next Door, amazing, A Stranger in the House, An Unwanted Guest, Someone We Know, The End of Her, and Not a Happy Family, which have all been New York Times and Sunday Times bestsellers. Her books have been sold in 40 territories around the world. She lives on a farm outside of Toronto, and Everyone Here is Lying is her 7th thriller. All right, Shari, welcome, and let's dive in. Can you give us the elevator pitch for Everyone Here is Lying?
Well, okay. It's nice to be here. This is a book about a 9-year-old girl who goes missing. She's an unusual little girl. She's very bright. She has a lot of challenging behaviors. She's a little bit difficult. And so the day that she disappears, she is sent home from school for misbehaving in choir practice. And she's not supposed to go home by herself. She's supposed to wait for her older brother to walk home with her. But she goes home on her own. And meanwhile, her father, who's a doctor, he has just been having an assignation with his lover, and she's just dumped him because she doesn't want anyone to find out about them. So he's quite upset that she's dumped him, and he decides to go home and to the empty house and pull himself together. But when he gets there, he finds his difficult 9-year-old there, and they get into it, and they have an argument, and he hits her really hard and knocks her to the floor. And then not too long after that, the brother comes home and everyone realizes that Avery is missing. And the investigation begins. Of course, all eyes are on the father, who can't account for where he was because he's trying to hide his affair. And, you know, they look more closely into the family. They're a bit dysfunctional. They know the daughter's got behavioral issues. And then as the book goes on, they start to realize that more people in the neighborhood know something or pretend they know something or think they know something about what happened to Avery. So it's a very interesting investigation because everybody here is lying about something.
They really are.
Yeah. I've done it a few times. Can you tell?
Yeah. No, you're not practiced at that at all. And I do have to mention, just because no one asked, but my daughter's name is Avery, so it was a little creepy, but it's okay. I got through that part. I'm like, no, this is just a fictional story. Relax. Okay. Anyway, thank you for that, Shari. All right. So without further ado, we need to settle in for the killer cocktail. Kimberly.
Yes. And Shari chose a gin and tonic, and her lovely husband even made it for her. Would you like to tell us why you chose the gin and tonic?
Oh, I forgot to do the pink. I just have the regular Gordon's gin tonight with the, yeah, so my favorite summery one is usually the pink gin, which just sort of has a raspberry. This is just the plain gin. And I like a nice elderflower tonic from Fever Tree. It's my favorite. So, and a splash of lime. I find that very refreshing at the end of a long day.
Yeah.
Or even the
summer cocktail.
That's a great cocktail. I can remember a time when I didn't like gin and tonics, but it was before I was a writer. Many years ago. I remember trying it, when I was in my 30s and thinking, why would anyone like gin and tonic? It's so bitter. But now,
it is an acquired taste.
It's an acquired taste.
Yeah.
And maybe it's
Once you love it, you love it.
Yeah.
Cheers to you, Shari, for another winner, instant New York Times bestseller. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
Amazing.
So exciting. Well, and now we are going to get into our killer question of the day. And so, but before that, so much praise for the book. The USA Today says Lapena is a master of manipulation. The Globe and Mail says Shari Lapena is rapidly becoming an international phenomenon. Everyone here is lying, begins with a bang and ends with a twist. No one will guess. And that is true, because I texted you guys, I think, and I said, I'm on chapter, I can't even remember. I know who did it. I was completely wrong. Completely wrong. So I'm cool. And finally, Booklist says, as usual, Lapena offers a clever, disturbing page turner with deeply flawed characters and a stunning conclusion. So, Shari, now we need to know the answer to this burning question. Where do you kill?
Well, this is my office. Is that what you mean? Where do I write?
Yes.
Whatever you want to tell us.
I have this office. I live on a farm, 100-acre farm outside of Toronto. And we moved here a couple of years ago. We used to live in Toronto in the city, but we've sort of semi-retired, although we work all the time. But anyway, we moved out to the country. And this is my office, and I can see a field outside, and sometimes there's deer out there. And I basically get up in the morning and I sit down at my desk and I work all day. Yeah. And if you want to know where I kill in my mind, I mean, I try to kill people wherever I can think of a good place.
I like that answer too.
There's no bad place to kill anyone, is there? I mean, it's all good.
Yeah. See, I love that. There's no bad place to kill someone. That's going to be one of our highlight reels.
And actually, not that long ago in the farm here, we bought a wood chipper. So we have a wood chipper.
I've seen Fargo. I know what they do with those things.
We know what those are really used for.
Yeah.
And there's a pig farm,
Oh. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So you've got a lot of possibilities out there.
Too much information. Yeah. Actually, I lied about the pig farm. It's a cattle farm.
Okay. I don't think they eat people. Yeah, so much.
No, cows don't eat people.
No, just the pigs.
So talking about because it sounds like you're kind of isolated where you're at. I mean, you have some land around you. Do you ever get creeped out as you're writing your scary books?
No, I don't. I work in the daytime. I hardly ever work I never work at night. Yeah. I'm a morning person for sure. So, it's usually daylight, and I get wrapped up in my books, but I don't get creeped out by them, because I just don't get creeped out by my own books. People ask me that, and I just know. I mean, I'm going along, and they're not gory books anyway. They're more the suspense is from anticipation of something terrible happening, or people being afraid of being found out and so on. There's hardly ever real violence. Okay, sometimes there's real violence, but it's not a big part of my books.
It's the mind games that all the characters are going through and putting other people through. It's so good.
But I do like to make jokes about the wood chipper, and I did buy when I was in Boston last week. I bought a really cute oven mitt with a 50s housewife on it, chopping stuff up, and she says, "I've got a knife," and I thought, "Oh, I love that." I bought it. So I like to sort of play around with that idea of woman as killer.
I love it.
Absolutely, so good.
Oh yeah, and we like you to say "kill" as much as possible on the Killer Author Club. So,
do you? I can say
go for it.
Absolutely, yeah. There's lots of ways to kill people. Yeah,
so many ways to kill people. I know, it's great. I mean, that's what we do. Okay,
I killed someone today.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, didn't you? I mean,
that's great. I was so close. It's like the next chapter.
Okay. You were leading up to killing someone.
I killed somebody yesterday, not today. So,
and I imagine you're going to kill someone tomorrow, Kimberly.
I already killed my person.
Oh. Well, the nice thing about writing is when you revise, you can go back and kill them again.
That's true. We can be smarter about it when we're
more elaborately too. Sometimes.
And more elaborate.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Those editorial letters, you got to kill them longer. Yeah.
Kill them longer.
So one of the things I loved about this book was that there were so many people it could have been. Right. And like so many characters, and everybody had a secret that they were holding back. So you didn't know what was true and what wasn't. But like, how hard is that to write? Did you have it all in your head beforehand? And because there were every time you would think, oh, it's this person, then another person would come onto the scene and you're like, no, it's that person. It was brilliant. But I think that must be very hard to write. No?
I think all books are hard to write. Let's not kid ourselves. I don't think writing is easy. I think it's a tough thing to do. I don't have it in mind of what I'm going to do. I make it up as I go, so I don't know where it's going. So it's not that hard for me to write the first draft. I find that I enjoy that, and that goes along pretty well. And then I find you're nodding, you must do that too. And then I find it's the editing and the restructuring and the reworking that is harder for me. So that's where the hard work comes in. I can't remember what your question was. What was the question?
All the people and keeping track of all the characters.
Knowing funnily enough, it's not hard for me to keep track of it when I'm writing it. I know exactly what's going on when I'm writing it. When I start to move the pieces around like a Jenga thing, and then you pull out one thing and something else falls over there, and it has domino effects all down the line. That's what I find harder to keep track of.
Right.
Yeah. But when I'm actually writing it, I've got it all here.
Yeah.
Do you have your characters ahead of time? Because because as Kimberly said, you have this cast of characters. They're telling the story. That's like they're passing.
So I just start with a couple. Usually I only know a couple of characters when I start. I just have the key idea, and they're in a conflict in some way. Like here, it's the dad and the daughter are having a fight, and I knew the daughter would go missing, but that's all I knew. I knew the daughter was difficult. I knew the dad would hit her and would be under suspicion, and I knew that she would disappear. But other than that, I didn't know anything else about anyone. Right. So I don't have the characters in mind, but they build quite quickly. I had the scene after I had the father hit the daughter. I knew that he had to have some reason to be upset. So I created the scene where he had the lover. And then, of course, I knew that there would be a lover and that she doesn't want to be found out. And then I thought, oh, that's good because, of course, she's going to get found out now because there's going to be an investigation. Mm-hmm. And then gradually the book just becomes people with other characters. And I just find ways to, weave them all in together. And somehow, the woman across the street has a child and, there was a tree house and, things just build.
Mhm.
Yeah, so that's how I go about it. I don't really have a lot in mind when I begin.
As you were writing, was there a character that you really loved to explore, or that you were, surprised as you were writing this character that really jumped out at you?
I think Nora's husband, Al, surprised me the most.
Mm.
Um, I'm just going to say one word, dumpster, and I'm not going to say anything more than that.
Yes.
Did not see that coming. But I thought that's cool. I enjoyed that. So he was a bit interesting to me. And I found Avery quite interesting to write because she's a bit different, and I like that age. She's 9 years old. She's a bright girl, but she doesn't know as much as she thinks she knows, and she can get herself. Well, she's gotten herself into some trouble because she thinks she's really smart, and she's not as smart as she thinks she is, and she's kind of in over her head. So yeah, I found her quite interesting, and I found her behavioral issues interesting. I did a lot of reading on children with behavioral challenges and oppositional kids, and the things they do, and that was fun.
Absolutely. And did you
And I
have
really
the
felt
title
for the
of one?
parents too, like the parents who, well, her parents for one, but also the other parents of kids who were maybe looking a little suspicious, like how terrifying that must be because you don't know what it's doing all day long. And if they're telling the truth, you want to believe them, but yeah.
There are lots of parent-child groups in this story. So there's the parents who think the world of their kids, and they think their kids could do no wrong and point fingers at other people. And that comes home to roost. And there's, the mother of the autistic boy who, he gets accused just because he's different. And there's different parents in here, and some parents are good parents and some aren't. And it's just fun for me to explore all of those dynamics.
Yeah. That's great.
Well, and I love the character of Detective Blesno, because she was like all of us on the outside looking in, and, as she's investigating, what happened to Avery. So, it's a very dysfunctional, secretive neighborhood, but she's kind of has to suss out all the facts. Tell us about how you went about writing her character. Did you have to do a lot of research, or did you talk with any law enforcement folks?
I didn't for this one. I try to not focus too much on the detectives. I'm more interested in the people involved in the crime and hiding it and so on. I like to have those detectives there to solve the crime and to, put everybody under a microscope and raise the tension for everybody. I liked Gully because she's the younger of the two detectives, and she's obviously the smarter of the two detectives and the more savvy. And I liked her sort of being the one making more progress. I liked her, but she didn't have any children, and she was sort of she didn't have children, did she? No, she didn't have children, and she was watching all of this and how people are. And I think at one point she has a thought like, God, is it worth it to have children? Because you look at all these things going on. Yeah, she was.
And
fun.
she had this like LiDAR, like she could figure out who was. I mean, she had a sense of like, okay, something's not right there, and you could tell. And she just didn't know exactly what was wrong, but she really knew that there was a lot of lying going on.
But at one point, she's the one that says everyone here is lying, and that's where the title is from.
Where the title? I know. I was wondering, did you have that? Did you have that at the beginning, like when you sat down to write it? Did you know the title, or did that just come about?
It came at the very end, and actually, it was my British editor who thought of that title. I thought it was a genius title, and then I went back in and had Gully say that.
Yeah,
because I had never thought of it. Because it's titles are so hard.
Titles are super hard, but I love when it's in the story and it's like, boom, there it is.
But if you find a perfect title, you can go back and try and find a place to put it in the book.
Perfect.
And sometimes it'll work, but in this case, it worked really well. But I find with titles, everything's been taken.
I know.
Yeah.
All the thriller titles are taken. I couldn't believe this one wasn't taken.
Yeah.
because it is a good title.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
perfect.
It is getting a little crowded with the title part.
So
cover.
Nikki,
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Nikki can.
I was going to say, Nikki wants to know a writing question. If you have daily goals, word counts, chapter counts, how do you keep yourself on schedule?
Okay, so I'm very much a disciplined writer. I do 1,500 words a day,
Well,
6 days a week. So, and that will take whatever it takes. Some days it'll take 2 hours. Some days it'll take 5. It usually takes about 4.
Mhm.
So if I review the previous day's work to get me in the mood, and then I do 1,500, which is about 6 pages, 6 manuscript pages a day. And if I do that, you can write a book in a year quite handily if you do
yeah.
that much. The point is to be consistent, of course. You have to do that every day. And because of the way I write, where I don't have an outline, I have to be in that story and be consistent every day to keep the story going. If I take 2 weeks off, I have to go back to the beginning, read it all again, get back in the mood. So for me, it's really important to do that daily, incremental, keeping the story going so that it's really vivid in my head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't quite hit 1,500 though. Not consistently. That's a
Well,
lot.
I only started doing 1,500 on the last book. Before that, it was always 1,000. I think I did my first 5 books or so on 1,000 words a day, and I was able to do that and come out with my book a year. But then it just got to the point where, as I was doing so many other things, I had to compress the actual writing part because the editing was taking so long and the promotion was taking so long. So, I think 1,000 words a day is a lovely number, but I felt I was just not having enough time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
What do you
hear
guys do? What do you do less than 1,500? What do you guys do? Heather,
Yeah,
what do you do?
I typically do in the past I've done like 15 to 2,000,
Oh,
and then
that's a
I
lot.
find that it would really stress me out a lot. So for this book that I'm working on, I'm trying to do a number of pages. Like I'm going to do like 5 pages a day, and then it's more about, for me, it's about that section of the story rather than word count. I don't
Yeah.
know if that makes sense at all. I'll let you know how it goes. It's going okay so far.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. 1,500 sounds like a lot. It is. It feels like a lot too when you're writing it.
It is. If you're doing too many, I find my quality suffers because I have to just rush it to get it down, and it's not worth it. So 1,500 is my max.
Yeah.
But if it's really flowing, I mean, that's when it's really fun. Like that's when I'll be up here and my office is upstairs and I can just go until someone makes me stop. That's
Kara, what is
it's
the
not
most
always.
written in a day, Kara? Because you are a fast writer.
Yeah, you're fast.
I really don't keep track of that. I just kind of, but when things are flowing, it can be like pages and pages and pages for sure. But I'm more like
she can write a whole story in what, like 3 months, 2 months?
Sometimes.
Seriously, you're one of those. Oh, I can't do that. I do a little bit every day. You're one of the ones that like goes full on for a couple months and writes the whole thing. Ooh,
Yes.
I don't have that kind of stamina.
I mean, but sometimes, again, like sometimes it doesn't. It just depends on how strong these characters are, as they appear. And some of them just kind of sweep me away, and I have to go. And they're on your brain the whole time, so like I might as well be writing it out because otherwise I'll be doing whatever it is I'm doing in the real world, and I'm just thinking about them all the time. Which you can do that too. But yeah, I love it when it's flowing like that. It's so fun.
Feeling.
There is something about momentum though, like staying in the story and not putting it down for too long and getting it out. I mean, I don't know, quickly, because it doesn't happen quickly for me, but getting it out as quickly as possible so you can
Stay.
push it out.
I love that until the editorial letters come. It's not so fun.
I wish I could push it out in a couple of months. Like it takes me about 4 or 5 months, 4.5 months.
That's
Roughly.
still good. That's still good.
I think that sounds
Shari, it is working fabulously for you. We love the stories. Love the book so much.
Yeah, I don't think you should change anything. You're doing great.
Just keep on doing what you're doing.
Keep on rolling. Okay, so it's our giveaway time, I think.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
Sherry is giving away 3 copies of Everyone Here Is Lying. And it's such a great book, you guys. All you have to do to enter is answer this question about our guests, and we will choose a winner from all the correct answers. Bonus points for joining the Killer Author Clubhouse on Facebook and subscribing to our ever burgeoning YouTube channel. Just go subscribe. I think we're up to like 4,000, maybe 400, but something like that. Okay. Anyway, this is the question. What country does Shari live in? No cheating. Everyone put your own answers in. Okay. Kimberly.
Yes. So if you were watching in our last episode, we announced a brand new killer partnership with bookshop.org. If you guys know Bookshop, they work to connect readers with independent booksellers all over the world. And you know how much we love our indies here at the Killer Author Club. So we have a Killer Author Club shop over at bookshop.org, where you can find all our titles from guests past, present, and future, plus some fun lists the 3 of us have put together. I'll be dropping that link in the comments, and we'll have lots more coming up in the next few days about this partnership, including some special killer discounts. So watch for those in the groups. But in the meantime, Shari selected Porchlight Books as her favorite indie. Will you tell us why this store is so special to you, please?
Well, they were chosen by my publisher as a very good bookstore in terms of getting books out to people. So that's why we chose them.
Love it.
Wonderful.
Love it. Yes. And I will be dropping the link in the comments so you can order Everyone Here Is Lying for you and everyone you know, and also find any of the books on your TBR right there.
Absolutely.
I might get my husband to start calling me Killer Shari.
So I think
That would be good.
we do that with our husbands. It works, you know. It makes us kind of seemingly more terrifying.
We also have some swag to give away. Membership has its privileges, and every episode we choose a name from the Killer Author Clubhouse, which is our private group on Facebook. We choose a name from the hat to win a piece of swag. We have t-shirts, mugs, candles, totes, hats, all of which can be found at killerauthorclub.com. And tonight's winner is Cookie, and I hope I'm saying this right, Fuzel. Cookie, please send one of the killers your address, and we will send some Killer Author swag your way.
Yay. And Shari, we've reached the moment where we are going to say, you survived the Killer Author Club. And we have a special gift for you to put on your face at the moment. But also we're going to send it to you, and you can print it out. You can, attach it to your bookshelf. You can do whatever you want.
Cool.
But thank you for being here. And you survived.
I did.
Yeah.
You did.
Nobody killed me. And it was
Congrats.
fun. It was fun.
Even though you're a killer, we're all killers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Who's going to Thriller Fest? Anybody going to Thriller Fest? You guys?
Oh, yeah. When is that? Is that
Pretty soon.
Spring, June,
Yes.
May?
Right. Yeah, Thriller Fest. I'll be there.
Yeah.
I'll be there.
Sure, I'll be there.
I might be there, but my daughter's getting married next spring, so
That's exciting.
You're going to be busy.
bad of course. We don't have a date yet. But
Okay.
next spring for sure. So depending on that. is-
Yeah, when they pick. Okay. Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, yeah. I love Thriller Fest. I will see you all
Yeah,
there.
that would be great if we could all get together.
Yes.
The reunion.
The Killer Author Club reunion.
Yeah. We should have that. That'd be so fun. Have everybody. All right. Anyway, back to the show, people.
Yes. Well, I mean, that does it for tonight's episode. It went so quickly. So thanks to everyone for tuning in. And thank you, Shari, so much for being here. We know how busy you are and you're promoting and working. And so for you to take some time out for us and all
It was a lovely break, believe me.
Good. Well, we're glad you enjoyed it. And we'll be back this Friday, the 18th, with the one and only Karen Slaughter at a new time. It's going to be 12 p.m. Eastern, so an afternoon show on Friday. But for full schedules, past episodes, recipes for those wonderful cocktails like Shari's Gin and Tonic, surf over to thekillerauthorclub.com, and we'll see you right back here on Friday for our next episode. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you so much, Shari.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
I guess I'm a killer.